Hello there, everybody. I hope you've all had a wonderful work week. So, tell me you don't know anything about marketing without telling me you don't know anything about marketing. Yeah, that's right. This week, multi-billionaire and marketing genius Elon Musk, he fired Tesla's growth content and marketing team a mere 1 year after he begrudgingly decided to, try a little advertising and see how it goes. Anyway, the news of the team's dismissal comes just behind numerous reports of Tesla's newest product, the bigger and fatter Back to the Future DeLorean, the Cybertruck, and all of its bugs and failures and lackluster sales figures and complete recall, by the way. And the news comes just ahead of Tesla's latest earnings report, which, let's check the internet here, and yeah, not so great. Anyway, what to make out of all of this? It was also just almost exactly a year ago that Elon fired the entire PR and comms team and other departments at the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. Then it was reported that tech CEOs were quietly looking at that move and consider replicating it in their own businesses. Soon, many of the tech industry CEOs began to lay off swaths of marketing and content professionals, some with great results, others not so much. So do we care that 40 people in Tesla's marketing and content team were removed unceremoniously? Is that a good thing? Was it the right thing? Should we replicate it if we're a company? What does it tell us about our own prospects in marketing? Let's explore it. This is a few minutes of what's new in marketing that might help you lead, or, not so much, your business's strategy. Let's roll. Hello, everybody. Robert Rose here with What's New in Marketing. It is what's new in marketing, but most importantly, that's right, it's what's important in marketing that we think may help you become a better leader. And if we can help your team with content marketing services, including custom training, consultation, or ongoing implementation of your content marketing approach, get on over to contentmarketinginstitute.com. Won't you fill out that form? Let's chat. Let's talk about your challenges. So, okay. As I mentioned, this last week was a tough one for people in marketing over at Tesla. Though I got to imagine, I don't know personally, but I have to imagine that many of them probably saw this coming in one way or another. Now, to be fair, this is part of a much broader layoff of professionals that have been going on for some time and will continue into the future. The announcement that the company would reduce its global workforce over the next year by up to 10% includes more than 2,600 people currently at its Texas facility. Now, Tesla still has more than 140,000 employees, so if they follow through on this for the rest of the year, the total layoffs could move into the 15 or 20, even 20,000 people region. Well, let's be clear. Losing 40 marketing and content people who are more appropriately, really for those of us inside marketing, they're probably more appropriately described as communications professionals. That's not the most meaningful part of the Tesla story. But what resonates the most is the very sudden turnaround for what Tesla believes about marketing, advertising, and content as a modern company. It was only a year ago that Elon Musk, begrudgingly it seems, said he would try advertising. Now, the content team that was let go already existed at this point, but they got the mandate to, quote, try a little advertising. 1 year into that experiment, Elon said, quote, the ads were far too generic on his social platform of X. Okay, but were they? Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Maybe his team wasn't big enough or lacked the skill sets of producing amazing brand advertising. Or maybe they were and couldn't get it approved. Or maybe they did and didn't get it promoted correctly. Or so many things that today's modern marketer would realize gets in the way of doing outstanding creative work. There's no doubt that they were, and by the way, should be proud of the work that they did. In a post on LinkedIn, Alex Ingram, the leader of that group, posted about the demise of the team and thanked them for their amazing creative work that they'd done over the years. That's right, years in plural. So what's the takeaway? Well, back in January, which feels like ancient history now, I covered the Solo Brand Stove Company and how they threw their entire brand marketing team under the bus after a disappointing sales quarter. Despite the fact that they'd done some amazingly creative work with Snoop Dogg that had gone viral, Solo said that 6 weeks, that's right, 6 weeks in this particular case, after the campaign, they hadn't achieved the results that they wanted. So they fired the CEO because of it. Now, my point then was that there was probably something bigger at play there and that there were many other reasons that their CEO was dismissed. But for some reason, they felt compelled to publicly make marketing the scapegoat here in their reasoning. Well, here we go again. As the famous quote goes, history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. Most of the news articles that are covering this 40-person team dismissal at Tesla, they have been reporting that the team had only been around for a year, but from my reading, my research, they'd been around a lot longer than that. In his post, Alex mentions that they'd been doing work in comms and PR and social media since 2019, but it was the, quote, try a little advertising, end quote, that was only a year old. So if we take that at its surface level value, well, they had a valuable comms team doing interesting things on social media and in comms, and that they tried a little advertising, which didn't work to Elon's liking, and basically said, yeah, let's get rid of the entire team. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? It makes almost as much sense as tearing a social media platform down to its studs to see what will break and then being quite surprised when it does. Unfortunately, as I also mentioned during the Solo Stove Challenge, well, this is something that we marketers are just used to. When things go amazingly well, it's almost never to the credit of great marketing. It's the genius CEO, the amazing salespeople, the superstar product or service or brand that won the day. But things fail, well, it's almost always marketing's fault. It's a Faustian bargain that we marketers have accepted for years and years and years since marketing has been around, and it will continue, and we've accepted it. But what annoys me the most is when you have a CEO, a board, or a leadership team that feels the need to publicly throw marketing under the bus when it's assuredly not their fault. If things were growing great for Tesla, and let's be clear, they're really, really not, do we really think Elon would have taken time out of his busy day to thank the advertising and content that his team had created? No, of course not. So why, in the face of laying off 10% of its entire workforce, would you go out of your way to publicly throw shade at a team that makes up 0.02% of the company and say that their work was, quote, generic, end quote, and that's the reason for their dismissal? Why? Because you think you know better and that your insecurity needs you to say the quiet part out loud. But more troublesome is the leadership teams across the industry that may watch that, and perhaps they do like what happened with Twitter and say, well, maybe we should do that too. Big spoiler alert here, you shouldn't. Marketing and branding has always been nothing but an afterthought for Tesla, and its noted absence is not laudable. But one of the myriad symptoms of challenges that this car company has is that there are no lessons to be learned here for any leadership team other than what not to do with marketing. And to the former content growth and marketing team at Tesla, well, bon voyage. And let us know if we can do anything to help. The work was fantastic. I went and looked at it. I went and looked at all the channels, the content, the videos. They were all wonderful work. Your fellow marketing and communications practitioners are with you. You will all end up in a better place. And that, well, that's a few minutes of what's new in marketing. And remember, it's your story to tell. Don't let anybody, especially the CEO of your company, tell it for you. You tell it well. I'll see you next week.